The immortal John Hancock here, and today I'm going to do another episode of Does It Still Work? And the last video I had a lot of fun, and going through my collection and finding things and kind of unboxing them and hooking them up was a lot of fun. The Commodore VIC-20, that was a fun video to do. I would really wish it would have all worked, but those types of things happen. So today I'm actually going to revisit a product I talked about a long time ago, and it's a long history, but the short answer is when I first started doing videos, it was actually before I was really doing a lot of things on YouTube. I did a series of collector videos called The Nuts and Bolts to Video Game Collecting, and these were crude videos with me just talking about my collection. I wanted to do a bunch of collection videos, put them on a DVD and sell them to collectors at conventions. I did this a long time ago, over 10 years ago. And a couple years ago I uploaded some of them on my YouTube channel, and that's really how I started kind of getting back into YouTube. And so one of the first collections that I completed after Odyssey 2, this is well over a decade, was the Microvision. And the Microvision is the first cartridge-based handheld system, and it was very primitive. And it's something that I've enjoyed collecting. And vintage handheld collecting is definitely not for the faint of heart, because a lot of times this stuff fails. It's usually in bad shape. My Microvision's in okay shape, but I have a complete box collection for it. And so I thought it'd be cool to see if it still works. Microvisions are known to be finicky, hard. There's sometimes when you get them, they don't work anymore. And so I thought I'd, unbox one again for my channel and see if it still works. So let's check it out. All right, here we go. I did, again, an earlier video of this, but, the quality wasn't great at all, and thought I'd revisit and show my Microvision collection. There technically was 12 games. I don't have the European exclusive Super Blockbuster. I think it was released in 1982. But I have the North American collection. And then primarily and mostly a North American collector. Again, most of my collection was purchased in person over time. And that's something, Super Blockbusters isn't something that you come across here in the States. And so, anyways, here it is. This is the Microvision US collection. There's technically 10 games with one label variation, and there's Star Trek. And one thing that wasn't previously in my video is, since then I got Phaser Strike, which essentially is the same game without the Star Trek license. And so they probably had a limited license deal with saying Star Trek on the Microvision, and that went away, and eventually they could just say Phaser Strike, which is interesting. So there's Star Trek, Phaser Strike, Vegas Slots, Connect 4, Sea Duel, Bowling, Cosmic Hunter, Pinball, Mindbuster, Alien Raiders, and Baseball. Something I didn't know until way later. Again, I didn't grow up with the Microvision. Microvision is something that I collected way later because, I grew up with Game & Watches, Nintendo Game & Watches, some other vintage handheld stuff. I didn't even hear about Microvision until, probably the late 90s, when I went on Digipress and found out about this other crazy stuff that came out that nobody bought. So here is a sealed copy of a Microvision game. It's really interesting. And I got this from Billy Galaxy, who's a mega collector, really, really amazing guy. He's got a store in Portland, and he specializes in really vintage memorabilia of all types. He's a lot of great Star Wars stuff. Anyways, I got this from him, and it's a sealed Microvision game, which you rarely see, which, here's the cool thing. It had a backing on it, but you had to take the backing off, and then you were left with a box Microvision game, which that's usually how you find them. Now, again, this is sealed. And here's the backing to one of the games that I think I purchased this at a convention, and it's just Mindbuster, the backing to it. And a lot of these are thrown out. These are getting harder to find because that is what a complete Microvision game looks like with the backing to it. Most of the time, this is, you know, a box Microvision game looks like this, and that's why there's nothing on the back there. This piece had the backing of the game, and it talked about the game. It showed the graphics of the game, which is very, very, very primitive. It's just a bunch of squares, you know. I think of those 90s handheld that were the Tetris style block games that you could get at the dollar store, and that's what you think, that's what you get with the Microvision. Anyways, that's that. Typically the insides of a game, you could open up the game and you would have something like this, and this is the actual game. It's actually a lot of the guts of the actual handheld. Okay, so you'd have these foam pieces, and that's where you would actually insert the game into the Microvision itself. This is in pretty good shape. And so the problem with these is that they get keypad damage, and over repeated use these tear, these break, these stretch. This one's in pretty good shape. It's in used shape. Again, I got mine from Chris Fanner. Thank you, Chris. If you're watching this, he gave me this long time ago. A good friend of mine. And on top of the actual cartridge, you would have the manual, and this one came with you know, collection of some of the games, and it's kind of cool. Shows some of the graphics on here. But that's not what we're not doing this video. I just wanted to show the video. I wanted to show the full collection, because I do believe in the last collection video I did not show Phaser Strike. Wanted to show that this time. And wanted to show working Microvision. And, you know, it's been a long time since I've fired this up. And, am I nervous? I don't know if I'm nervous. I don't know if it's going to work. So, here we go. So here's Blockbuster, and here's the inside of the box. I thought that was kind of interesting. Microvision game, and showing the graphics there. That is so interesting. Here's some other goodies. I've had these in a bag for a long time, just to keep them in okay shape. This is a thank you, personal thanks from Milton Bradley, purchasing the product. Other interesting note that came with it, the product, is these little inserts that talk about applying the static shield. It's like a thing you'd had to apply when you first got these. So interesting. And here's the actual unit. And, you know, again, it came with these foam pieces. I'm going to put this up here. So that's part of the insides of a Microvision. Another foam piece. Two foam pieces. The actual cartridge pack-in. This is the game that really, the pack-in game is ironically one of the better games. And, you know, the other game, there's some other interesting games, but the pack-in game is, you know, in my opinion, one of the better ones to play on it. And, you know, the pack-in manual's larger, and again, it talks about the game, how to play it. And you had, you know, upcoming games. So here's my Microvision. Now, my Microvision is used, very used. You know, the top here part, it's lost its kind of shimmer. You know, this stuff one definitely has been played. All right, here's the problem with this console, is that the LCD screen easily gets damaged over time. Now there's a major variation to this handheld, and so in here I have the 9-volt version. There's one that doesn't have this version has a place where you put the extra batteries. So weird. And so my advice to any of you, do not ever store batteries in your handhelds. Okay, take them all out. They leak, they cause damage. You know, this compartment's very nice, pretty clean. You know, probably could be a little bit cleaner. Again, my console's very used, but I think it's going to work. We'll see. It worked last time I fired it up, but that's 10 years ago. So, you know, this is a little adjustment here that this is really important, because if you can't see anything on your handheld, adjust that and it might appear. So, alright, so I took a 9 volt that I had. So weird that it uses 9 volt, and you pop it in right there. Follow the instructions here. And here's the cartridge. And let's see here. Insert it up there. And so like that. Alright, with the batteries in, here we go. I haven't fired this up in a long time. Again, I think the last time I played it was the first time I did my Microvision videos. So this is over 10 years ago is when I played this last. So let's see here. Look at that. Nice. Nice clear screen. Okay. Microvision's a blurry mess, but we'll see how well. Okay. So the T stands for triple. So this is the easier way of playing. You just press go. And it works. Six balls left. It may not look like much, but you know, back then this was very advanced. You know, again, this came out 10 years before Game Boy. So very primitive. I kind of look at it like if Gamecom and the Atari 2600 had a child, it would be the Microvision. Alright. So that's that. That works. Alright, let's see. Let's try another game. So again, because this handheld's pretty interesting, because most of the majority of it is in the actual cartridge of the individual game that you're playing. So I'm just going to turn this on. I'm not going to actually play it. But Phaser Strike. This is something that's rarely seen on video. Again, this is a pretty rare game. And again, you insert it in like that. Nice and secure. Again, these buttons get damaged. So let's see here. Alright, fire right up. It works. Pretty simple and primitive, but that's really cool. I'm glad to show that. Is vintage handheld collecting something that you do? Are you frustrated sometimes with these old electronics and how they don't work sometimes? Comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Again, you know, the Microvision is such an interesting first pioneering handheld, and you know, the idea that the cartridges like took up almost half the console is just pretty interesting. And so I've had a lot of fun showcasing some of the older things. I plan on doing more of this video. This is something that I think that I can do for many reasons, and I think collectors have asked for it. It's something that I feel like is a specialty of my channel. I like talking about current events, but I don't want to be just that channel. You know, a lot of people can do that. Anybody can do that. This is something I feel that's unique to my channel that I can showcase and talk about, and it's hopefully to help other collectors, and it's kind of fun to just, you know, fire up something really old and see if it still works. So anyways, please subscribe, comment, and like. It helps me out so much. Again, I'm going to plan on doing 3 videos a week, one on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Also, I'm still planning on doing an exclusive video this month for my Patreon people. Please be patient with me. I have something really, really cool planned for you folks. So anyways, just want to thank everybody for all the comments, views, and likes. It means the world to me. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. This is the Immortal John Hancock. Take care.